Hey guys, so here is a brand new detector that was recently released by Escort. You may have seen one of my previous videos where I was talking about this detector before it was released, but now here it is in the flesh. This is the new Escort Passport X70. New detector that Escort has recently released. It's a bit of an oddball. They haven't actually done much marketing. There hasn't been a single press release or anything available about this detector. In fact, it's not even on Escort's website, so it's a little bit of an oddball, and I'll talk about why I think that is as we get in here through the video. And so for this video, what I want to talk about is, well, obviously, what is this thing? What features does it have? How is its performance relative to some of the other detectors? We'll talk about how it stacks up in the lineup compared to some of the other detectors, its price point, and ultimately whether or not it makes sense for you to get this detector versus maybe another detector. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So as I said, this is the new X70. It's essentially the successor to the Escort Passport 8500 X50. Right? We had the X50 and now we have the X70. The X70 has the same radar detector horn, the part that actually receives the signal, the antenna essentially, right? Has the same antenna, the same horn as the X50, but it has some updates over the older detector. It has some software updates to give it better performance. The case design has been updated. It has a new OLED screen, OLED, however you say it. Has a new updated display here, just like the Passport Max and the Passport Max 2. You can see I've got a Max 2 right here, and this one actually has the same display. So it's got the newer display, and it's got some updated bells and whistles over the X50. So it's basically the updated version, the successor to the X50, the same price point. That detector was $300, the retail price. This detector here is also $300. Those of you guys who are familiar with some of Escort's detectors, may look at this and say, this looks really, really similar to the Escort Passport. And you'd be correct. It's basically identical to the Escort Passport. There's only one small change between this and the Passport itself. The difference, besides the price and the name, is the fact that this one does not have Bluetooth built in. The Passport has Bluetooth built into the detector, so you can actually pair it with your Android or iPhone and connect to the cloud via Escort Live. Really, really handy. Gives you real-time alerts to the cloud, lets you actually configure the detector through your phone rather than having to go through the menu and do everything manually, so it's pretty handy there. This detector, the only difference between this and the Passport is the fact that it does not have Bluetooth built in. In a sense, it's almost the same exact difference as the Max and the Max 2. The Max and the Max 2 are literally identical detectors except for the fact that the Max 2 has Bluetooth built in, and so you'll see the icon right there on the screen. There's a $50 price difference. The Max is $550. The Max 2 is $600. And for that extra $50, you get a Bluetooth chip actually built into the detector, and so you don't need a cable that has Bluetooth built in. It's actually built into the detector, which I think is a better design, a better implementation, and I prefer it. I'll get into a little bit why a little bit later on in the video. Passport, same thing. The Passport itself is $350. Escort then removed the Bluetooth chip from the Passport, and then they created a quote-unquote new detector called the X70, which instead of $350 retails for $300. So also a $50 difference, just like the Max and the Max 2, which has a $50 difference. The Passport and the X70 has a $50 difference. So for those of you guys who are familiar with the Passport, this is literally the exact same thing, but without the Bluetooth chip built in. Now, it still does have compatibility with Escort Live, and therefore you can see it right here on the screen. It says compatible with Escort Live, and you can pair it with your phone. The way that it works, I don't actually have an Escort Live cable here, but the way that it would work is you would get a cable like this. Instead of having Bluetooth in the detector, you'd have it in the cable, and you have to get a special cable. Originally, it was either just Android or just iPhone. However, now they do have cross-platform cables, just like they have cross-platform detectors, where one cable works on both platforms. So what you could do is you can get a special cable, you could plug it in, and now your detector would be able to pair with your phone to give you alerts into the cloud. You can configure your detector from your phone. You can get, for this detector, which does not have a GPS chip built in, you can get red light camera alerts, speed camera alerts, air patrol, where they often do aircraft enforcement. you get a lot of really useful, helpful stuff that's not actually built into the detector. So it's a really, really helpful feature. But for those of you guys who are looking for something a little bit simpler, a little bit less expensive, this is going to be a good choice. And so kind of with that said, let's go ahead and talk about where this detector fits in as far as the different tiers of detectors. And to do that, let's talk about what features this detector has and what features it does not. This detector is based on the M4 platform. The M4 is going to be, if you take a look here at the FCC ID, you'll see it actually says M4 right there on it. It's the QKL M4PP. Basically what that means is the antenna design, the fundamental radar detection platform that's used on Detector, is the same platform that's been used across many, many Escort and Beltronic detectors for many years. It's the same radar detector platform that Escort's been using for a while. They've repackaged it, they've added a few different bells and whistles, a different case, a different name, and they've repackaged the same radar detector platform that they've been using for years. This is Escort's bread and butter radar detector platform that they've used on tons of detectors, so there's nothing new or revolutionary or world-changing about this detector. It's a repackaged version of their current existing bread and butter M4 platform, which is their more affordable platform. This detector will not have the same performance as some of the higher-end detectors, such as the Valentine 1, the M5 detectors, such as the Max and the Max 2, it's not going to have the same performance. And it will not have the same performance as the M3 based detectors, such as the Redline, STIR Plus, 9500 CI, etc. This is the same platform that you'll see on some of the other M4 detectors, such as the 8500 X50 Black, the RX65 M4, the 9500 IX. A lot of Escort's best-selling detectors are actually based on the same exact platform here, so there's nothing new and revolutionary about this. This is simply a repackaged version of their same, good-selling platform. This is not going to be the top-performing one. This is designed to be more of their, you can see right here, it even says it's more of like a value proposition, right? Outstanding performance, outstanding may be a bit of a stretch in my personal opinion, but it's going to be, I'd say, mid-pack, maybe slightly above mid-pack performance. Why do I say that? Well, you've got a whole bunch of detectors available on the market. You've got some of the lower-end detectors, such as the K40 and the Cobra detectors, right? That's going to be kind of your low-end, bottom-of-the-barrel detectors. You've got the high-end, top-notch performing detectors, such as the Redline, the V1, and the Max 2. Those are going to be your top-end detectors. The ones here with the M4 platform is going to be more of your mid-level detectors. And so it's not going to be the worst performing detectors. It's also not going to be your top performing detectors. It's designed to be more of the value play, the value proposition, which is why this detector is priced at $300, not at $400, $500, $600 like some of the top end detectors. And so the same platform they've used in the 9500 IX, they've used it in the RX65 M4, they've used it in the 8500 X50 prior to the X70. This actually shares the same radar detector platform as what you'll see here. But, however, there have been some software updates that will give it some extra performance boosts over the older M4 versions of the detectors, and specifically that's BSRDR, or band segmentation, and the ability to turn off radar detector rejection, or RDR. And if we take a look here into this part, and you'll see I've got KA band turned off, and I can actually adjust the individual segments. I have segment 1 for 33.8 turned on. This is 34.3 turned off. And I have segments 3 and 4 for 34.7 and 35.5 turned on. And you'll see I also have RDR turned off right there. So that right there, a couple small changes that they've done. If you don't know what they mean, see my see my video on programming the Escort Passport. It'll explain what they're all about. But basically what they've done is there's some software tweaks that are available here in this detector, exactly like the Escort Passport, which are going to give you the same performance boosts in software above and beyond what's available by just the stock hardware. Same thing, we saw the huge performance boosts with the Redline, the 9500 CI, the STIR Plus. It's available in the Valentine 1. This band segmentation option is huge. It's going to give you a really fantastic ability to improve the performance of the detector. In short, it's going to make the detector faster to react, and so it's going to be less likely to miss very brief, short duration quick trigger alerts. This in turn will also also give you a longer range. So this is going to give you better range than you'll see with some of the other M4 detectors, such as the 9500IX, the X50, the RX65. Right? So because it has BSRDR, that software update is going to give it better performance than what you'll see with some of the other M4 based detectors. Additionally, you've got the really nice black case and shell like this. I actually prefer this design over, believe it or not, the Max design. You can see this one here has kind of some silver trim. The silver buttons here can actually reflect in your windshield. I don't like that too much. It's more obvious, it's more intrusive when you're driving. I like a detector that's more stealthy and less reflective in the windshield, and I actually prefer this case design over the Max and the Max 2, despite the fact that its performance is going to be less than some of the other detectors. The physical case design itself is going to be an improvement. This one, as I mentioned, also does have the OLED screen right there. You'll notice on the screen it also does have the Bluetooth icon right there. If you pair it with a phone, that Bluetooth icon will actually light up. It'll turn blue, and then eventually, once you're paired with your phone, you'll see like this. It'll actually give you the speed limit in the area. It'll tell you what speed you're going, and it'll tell you what the speed limit is for whatever road that you're on. Very handy, great feature, really, really like that. But because this one is currently not paired with a phone, and because I'm not using an Escort Live cable, this detector is currently not connected with Bluetooth, and so that Bluetooth icon is actually grayed out. So with that said, what makes more sense? Does it make sense to have Bluetooth built into the detector, or does it make more sense to have Bluetooth built into the power cable? Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and talk about that, because this is actually, in my opinion, a surprisingly big deal, and because of this, this is actually one of the main reasons why personally I don't think it really makes sense to get this detector. For those of you guys who are wondering whether or not it makes sense to get this detector, in certain cases I would say, I guess so, but in most cases I would say no, and let's talk about why that is. Well, for an additional 50 bucks, you can get the Escort Passport. Like I said a couple times in this video, it's the same thing, but it has Bluetooth built into the detector as opposed to requiring an Escort Live cable. So this right here is the type of cable that it comes with. You'll see that it actually says Smart Cord on it. It's not an Escort Live cable, which means it does not have Bluetooth built in. If it had Bluetooth built in, this cable right here would be $100. So a $100 cable plus a $300 detector means you're spending $400 to be able to do this, compatible with Escort Live. If you want Escort Live compatibility, well, you can buy the Passport for only $350, has Bluetooth built in. You get a cheap cable like this, which is already included with the detector, and instead of having to drop $300 for the detector plus another $100 for the optional extra Escort Live cable, for a total of $400, for only $350 you get the Escort Passport and get it all integrated in one detector. So for those of you guys who are looking to actually do this right here, what it says on the package, and integrate with Escort Live, it doesn't make sense to do that. It's actually going to cost you more money to go with this detector plus a live cable to do that than if you just went for the Escort Passport itself. Does that make sense? So for $350, you could do that with the Passport. If you want to do this with the X70, it's going to cost you $400, so an extra $50 on top of that. Not only that, let's say you want a, this is actually the cigarette lighter cable, right? Like this, plugs right into your cigarette lighter port. Let's say you want a hardwire cable which plugs into your car's fuse box, and it's a much cleaner install. It's how I prefer running my detectors, and if you want a permanent install, that's really the way to go. You have no cable running over your dash, your cigarette lighter is free, it's a more permanent install. It takes a little bit more time to set up, but it's really a much better option. If you want to do that, well, you're going to have to forego the cigarette lighter cable and again drop another $100 for the Escort Live hardwire cable. Cool, so $100 for this cable if you want to get it. If you want to get the hardwire cable, that's $100 as well. What if you want to use a detector in multiple vehicles? Well, if that's the case, you got to get a $100 cable per vehicle, unless you want to actually take your cable and move the cable between vehicles. If you get a hardwire cable, you're going to have to get a $100 hardwire cable for every vehicle, or a $100 Escort Live cable for every vehicle in order to get this guy to use Escort Live compatibility. If you want this guy, and to be able to use it across multiple vehicles, you can get Bluetooth built into the detector rather than having to spend money to put it inside the cable itself. You get a cheap, inexpensive hardwire cable that just supplies power and has no Bluetooth capability. That detector or that cable is 10 bucks or 20 bucks or whatever it is. Cheap cable, get Bluetooth built into here, and then you can use it across multiple vehicles without having to drop a bunch of cash on a bunch of expensive cables for every vehicle, right? So because of that, in most situations, if you want to actually use Escort Live with the X70, I would recommend not getting the X70 at all. It makes more sense to actually get the Escort Passport completely. If you want to use a detector and you're like, cool, that supports Escort Live, and that's great, but I have no intention in using it. I don't care about alerts to and from the cloud. I don't care about reporting my alerts to other people. I don't care about seeing other people's alerts. Maybe I use Waze, which is a free and better app. Maybe I do more driving in the mountains and I don't care about red light cameras and speed cameras. I don't have those on the highway. I don't do much city driving. And so I'm looking for more highway performance. If you don't want any of the Escort Live features and you're just going to set your detector and program it and you don't really care about programming it through your phone, fine, don't worry about getting Escort Live. Save yourself the $50 over the price of the Escort Passport and get yourself the X70. In that case, saving the $50 makes sense because you're not going with the Escort Live capability even though the feature is available. So if you don't need it, save the $50, don't get Escort Live, and here's a way to get the Escort Passport without having to pay for the Bluetooth and thus the Escort Live capability. So in that specific situation, it may make more sense to go for the X70 over the Passport. However, if you're in the situation of where you're looking to get a detector and you don't care about Escort Live capability, to be honest, if you're looking for a budget detector, which is what this detector has kind of pitched itself as in the $300 price point, there's other detectors you can get where you can spend less money and get similar, if not better, performance, such as the Beltronics RX65 M4. It's going to be slower to react. It's the same radar detector platform that's used here in the X70. It does not have BSRDR. It doesn't have, the fancy new screen and, some of the other things. It does still have the ability to filter out blind spot falses. It does actually still have compatibility with Escort Live. So it's not that old. But this radar detector platform you can find in the RX65 M4 for anywhere from $110 to $150 if you shop around online. So anywhere from a third to half the price of this detector. If you don't maybe need the fancy screen and the new display or the black case, if you want this kind of radar detector platform and you're looking for more of a value detector, it may make sense to go for the RX65. Additionally, some of the Uniden has actually released some new detectors which are performing quite well, and they are very affordable. So you can get this level of performance, if not more performance, for less money than what's available here on the X70. And because of that, I find it really hard to recommend this detector. Like, to be perfectly honest, like if you're looking to save money, there's other detectors which can give you similar performance for less money, if not better performance and more features. So I'm really kind of like, does it make sense to get this detector? Not really. It's kind of designed for people who are like, okay, I really want an Escort new detector and I don't need Escort Live compatibility, I don't need Bluetooth, and I don't need GPS. This detector, unlike the Max and the Max 2, does not have GPS built in. So you will not get GPS lockouts. You will not get low speed muting around town. You will not get red light camera and speed camera alerts. You won't get your speed displayed here on the screen. See how the speed is shown right there? That speed requires your phone's GPS. Unless you pair it with your phone, you will not get the speed displayed there. You can get that with the Max and the Max 2 because this detector actually does have GPS built in. You'll actually see it right there. It says GPS. This detector does not have GPS built in. There's no GPS chip. And because of that, you have no ability to use some of the GPS filters or features. And those features are really helpful. Things like, the red light cameras and the speed camera alerts, that's really helpful if you've got them in the area. Things like the GPS lockouts to say, hey, I've seen this false alert a bunch of times. Just learn this alert. Every time I pass by this drugstore, this grocery store, just mute it, keep it quiet, don't alert me anymore. That feature is really useful, really handy. That feature is only available if you get, number one, an Escort Live cable to pair it with your phone, and then you tell your phone, mute this detector, lock it out, or mute this signal, don't alert me to it in the future. So just like the older detectors, like the 9500iX, the Escort Redline, which require pairing with your phone, same exact thing, it's going to require your phone to get those features. So, so let's say you've heard all this and you're like, well, that's cool. I don't need low speed muting, I don't need GPS, I don't need red light camera alerts, I don't really care to pair it with my phone. I understand there's other detectors out there by other brands and older ones. I want a new detector that has this fancy new screen. I want compatibility, or well, I guess I don't care about that. $300 makes sense to me to spend on a detector. I like this guy's design, I like the black case, and I want to get it. Okay, cool. Where do you get it? Well, there's really only one place to get this detector, and that's actually at Best Buy. This detector is a bit of an oddball. Escort is usually really, really good about marketing and advertising. They do tons of press releases, tons of marketing. In fact, we may even say that their marketing is above and beyond what their engineering is capable of. Like that was actually kind of an issue with the Max and the Max 2, or when the Max itself was released. Marketing was making a lot of claims as far as what the detector could do that it couldn't, which really upset a lot of enthusiasts and kind of left a bad taste in our mouth because there's a lot of false claims of what the detector could do that it could not. Anyways, without getting into all that stuff, there has been no announcement from Escort whatsoever about this detector. None. If you look on Escort's website, you won't even see this detector listed on their website. You'll see the predecessor, which is the 8500 X50 black, even though you can already go in and buy this detector. This detector is only available currently in Best Buy. It seems to be some sort of exclusive licensing agreement with Best Buy. I can't confirm this for sure, but that does seem to be the case. You can't go on Amazon, you can't go on Escort's website and buy it. It's only available through Best Buy. It seems to be kind of like they're trying to make a small, subtle change to their detector and make some sort of exclusive agreement with Best Buy so you can only find this product there. Like, I'm not a sales and marketing guy, you know, whatever they're doing, cool, whatever. But as far as I can see, this is only available in Best Buy. $300 detector. If you want to go out and get it plus tax, cool. So if you're looking for it, that's the price point of this detector, minus any Best Buy coupons if you have them or they're available or whatever. But if you're looking for this detector and it is something that you're wanting, you're going to want to go to Best Buy, whether you go online or you go into the store, you can pick up this detector and they have it available. One quick note, this is the Passport X70. However, this is something that I found a little bit confusing when I went to the store. I thought they didn't even have it. If you take a look at the side of the box, when it was sitting here on the shelf like this, I was looking at it and I was like, oh, that's the Passport. That's not the detector I'm looking for. If you take a look, it doesn't even say X70, right? At all. It looks exactly like the Passport. I guess it does right there. A little bit, you can see the X70. But it doesn't actually say X70 on the side of the box, so it's really, really confusing. If you are looking at just this one, just be aware that it says Passport. It doesn't say Passport X70, and so you may think that the detector is not in stock, even though it actually is. So just kind of something that's a little bit confusing. I think that's kind of weird with our box. But anyways, here's a look at the back of the box. You can see here it actually does talk about the Passport X70. It calls it the right name. It's got the picture right there. It talks about the features. It's great, cool. It's got features. It alerts to radar. It you know, you can pair it with an Escort Live cable if you get it. Great, cool. It's got all that stuff. Yeah, I guess we can also talk about what it comes with. If we go ahead and I'm going to open the box here real quick and take a look at what's inside. Very, very standard as far as what all is included. So we've got our case here. We've got kind of this semi-hard clamshell case. So very nice travel case. I really like it. You can, you know, put your detector inside. You've got the standard smart cord cable, which, where did I put it? Looks like this. See, smart cord right there. So when you plug it in, you can mute a signal. You'll see your alerts. It'll actually blink right there when you get an alert. You've got your standard windshield mount right there. Goes like this. Great, cool. So, you know, windshield mount, 2 suction cups, very standard, just like you've got in tons of other detectors. It does not come with the sticky cup like you'll see with the Max. If I try to plug it in, it's not actually going to work at all, so it's not sticky cup compatible. You do have to use the standard suction cup connector. And then, what else? Is that it? That's about it. And yeah, it comes with a manual. So, take a look here. We've got the manual as well. No big deal. If we open it up, let's see, where is it? You'll see right there in red towards the bottom on the left side, it says it comes with, or it requires an optional Escort Live cable if you want to use some of the features like the display for the GPS, the red light cameras, all that kind of stuff. You've got your configuration options where you can go in and change the different settings. So it's all there. This is the Escort Passport X70. So, whoops, there you go. Awesome. So, anyways, for those of you guys who are seeing this detector, maybe discussed online, you saw it at Best Buy, you're Googling around for reviews, you know, does it make sense to get this detector? In my opinion, probably not. If you're curious about the performance, take a look at any review or test of the Escort Passport, and you're going to see pretty much the same performance and capabilities as that detector, except here on the X70. It just seems to be a slightly tweaked and customized version of the Passport, just to give Best Buy some sort of quote-unquote exclusive, I guess. detector that's not available anywhere else. So if you're looking for maybe a Passport and you don't need the Escort Live compatibility, this may be a good choice. It's something to consider. It'll save you 50 bucks, though you can actually a lot of times go online, find a little bit of a discount, and get the Passport with the Bluetooth for pretty much the same price as what you'll get here with the X70. So not too big of a deal. It's not a huge breakthrough in terms of radar detection or features or anything. It's just a Passport without Bluetooth built in, so no GPS, no Bluetooth. If you're looking for just something more of the basic radar detection, mid-pack, maybe upper mid-pack radar detection, this right here is one to take a look at. Though, of course, there's a lot of other options, especially if you're looking for more of a value detector and you don't necessarily want to spend a ton of money. There are plenty of other options to consider. But if this is one that you're looking at, here you go. Here's a look at the Escort Passport X70. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment area below. I'll put a link in the video description as well, also to the Best Buy page where you can go take a look at this detector and buy it if you want. You can go into the store and get it there as well. Either one works. So there you go. I hope that's been helpful. Thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye.